So the first thing I think is essential for the lit review is an organizational plan, because in the lit review process it becomes quickly very easy to become overwhelmed with the sheer amount of literature that might be out there for you to review. So having a sense of how am I going to organize my time, how much time do I want to spend on an article, what do I want to do once I've read the article, and then how many articles do I want to review before I feel like I've gotten a good start in this field. I think that plan is essential. So one of the things that Dr. Bhattacharya had us do early on was basically to set that structure up for ourselves. So over a semester, I was able to identify that I wanted to review, I think I picked a number like, one article a day, and I would read the article, and then I would do a really quick, as soon as I was done reading it, write-up. And sometimes that write-up was one sentence because the article wasn't a fit, and I could figure that out within the first 3 pages. But sometimes the write-up became a great big list of things, including other articles I wanted to read or scholars I needed to follow up with, and then that would serve as a guide for the next week's work. So that organizational process really allowed me to get deep into the literature and take a wide look at what was out there and discern how I needed to use it. The second piece about that was to use that organizational structure to ultimately serve as some of your early writing in your lit review. So the second thing Dr. Bhattacharya and Dr. Toller had me do was go back to that lit review, which ended up, I think it was like 40 pages in a Google Doc that I had the citations were in there, and then my notes on all the reading, key terms, anything was in there. And they both recommended that I go back, and as I started to review it, I picked key sections where I thought, basically coding my own preliminary notes to see where was I seeing similar themes converge or diverge, and then to write on those topic areas. And that really allowed me to build that lit review. It was amazing how much writing I had from that, and now of course it needed to be refined, but it was there. So the third thing with the lit review that cannot be stated enough is to have a plan, so like a citation plan. I used RefWorks, and ultimately after visiting with the library I transitioned to Zotero because of some of the capacity it had to store resources, edit resources. But that getting used to writing in the format that the graduate school needs you to, with the write and cite capacity of a Zotero or a RefWorks when you're compiling that lit review, makes all the difference in the world. You get in the habit of how to cite sources, and you start to do it really, really heavily in that chapter 2. So get going with that, even if you're not quite sure how it works. If the earlier you learn it, the easier your life becomes.